Hello, everybody, and welcome, and introducing you to my beautiful friend and teacher, Shaura, who is here because I wanted her to share all about this beautiful course that she has crafted and will be guiding us through for those of you who are interested in joining us. It's called Awaken the Dreaming, and it's a journey through the realms of dreaming. So yeah, welcome Shaura, and thank you for coming here to talk to us about it today. And just before we started recording this, we were talking about a dream journal. So could you just touch on what you were saying a moment ago?
To dive straight in. So hello, good morning everybody. Thank you Amy for not only inviting me into the Zoom, to the room of Zoom, but also in being the inspiration for that this course needed to land itself, to be here. So we were talking about a dream journal a moment ago, and I was saying that when people get interested in dreaming or in understanding more about dreaming, one of the first things they do is to start writing down their dreams in the morning, a dream journal. In fact, one of my teachers and his wife, who have a lifelong history of working with dreams and creating therapeutic creating therapeutic trainings and organizations based on dreams. They wake up in the middle of the night and write down bits of their dreams and then go back to sleep and write down bits and go back to sleep. I haven't got to that point yet. But a dream journal is a resource that we can have for ourselves that helps us to remember what comes through the night. And then oftentimes when we go back and we look at the dreams, they make more sense to us after life has, unfolded a little bit further on than the dreams were, if that makes sense. So very often, there's information in dreams, and information comes from different places. There are also like messages in dreams about aspects of ourselves or aspects of our experience that are requiring our attention. So when we start to become interested in dreams, it's almost like we're putting another pair of glasses on, or we're putting another lens on our eyes so that we can see another layer of our own existence.
Yeah, nice. So the dream journal helps us to go back and look at all of that.
Helps us to record it, and also, what happens when we're writing the dreams, we remember more. So dreams they're very like tangible and intangible at the same time. They're kind of quite mysterious because they're here and we know they're here, and when we wake up we can remember bits of them, and then later on in the day we remember a lot less. So as we exist more in our waking consciousness, the dreams fade into the background. But if we record them, what we find is that we remember more of the dreams as we're writing it down. It's almost like the act of writing uncovers more of what we've experienced through the night.
Yeah, I totally get that. And just talking more about this course with you, and I've started just by talking about it, I've started waking up and thinking more about my dreams. So, and it's really, yeah, it's something that's always fascinated me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And yeah, I'm really excited to go on this journey with you. So, how how just for everybody listening, how have we laid, or you've laid the course out? How does it look for people that are going to come and join us? What do we do? And
Well, I have this beautiful PDF that we've created at the side of me, so I'm going to refer to that. It's a 7-part journey, and we're going to meet on Sunday afternoon for 3.5 hours. So each afternoon is connected to the 7 sacred values of the white buffalo calf woman, who is a prominent figure in the First Nation Lakota people. So she arrived in their lives to give them a code to live by. And for me, that code represents like an evolved species. It's a very simple code. And so what we do is we go on a journey through those 7 sacred values, and they're all kind of guiding us through okay, so I've gone quiet because there's so much of what they're guiding us through. They're guiding us through the path that we're obviously going to take, because we'll be here taking it. So the first one is connected to the value that is living good health. And the way that we've interpreted that in the course is to ask the question, what is the dream of life? What is this dream? What is this life? What is this reality that we live in? So in some Indigenous cultures, they say that actually our waking life is the dream. And when we're sleeping, we're more connected to a deeper sense of reality. So we look at the what is the dream of life. The second one is remember the generations. Remember that everything that we do impacts on the generations to come, and everything that we're experiencing now has been contributed to by the generations behind. So then we're going to look at what legacy do we want to leave behind. And then it talks about, walking in quietness and being humble in our journey on the earth. So I remember we were talking about, your vision in your business and in your life, and we were talking about how we could stay connected to that destination, a destination that seems to be the possibility of this destination of a life where humanity can support each other to live a sustained and renewable life. The possibility seems to be here. So how do we stay connected to that destination and bring that destination to us? And the fourth one is be happy. We're here having this experience, so be happy with the experience. And so then we're looking at how do we stay awake in times of challenge. So this destination is here, and we can see that the possibilities there for us to, have this this life that's nourishing for all people and for people to have equal opportunities. So how do we stay connected to that, but how do we stay awake in the challenges that must be in our future between this and that, in some of the spiritual traditions, they talk about how when the spirit refines itself, or the soul refines itself and becomes more connected to the energy of life, becomes more connected to the spiritual path, how challenges arise. So we have this idea that, we're going to have this spiritual life and everything's going to be very beautiful. And yes, there are definite moments of beauty, but challenges seem to increase. So how do we stay happy in the face of that, awake and connected? And how do we stay committed to our journey? So then we're going into the people shall help one another. So what vision do we want to create for our world? So we're looking at, envisioning the world we want to create for our children and our grandchildren. And we're also looking at releasing some of the karma that have been left to us by the ancestors, some of what we are processing for them. And then we have an all-night session. So, we have an all-night session, which is from 10 till 4. And the sacred value for the all-night session is the people shall remember the power. And so we look at what is true power. And for me, when I connect to true power, it's really very quiet. It's so very quiet. And it's the power of love. And so when we connect to that and we allow that power to kind of move inside of us and direct our movements, we become aligned with the whole universe. And then how do we recognize ourselves as being part of creation? The people shall respect all of creation is the value. So how do we recognize that we are creation and so is everything else? And so how do we kind of, how do we fall back into place with the whole of creation, and therefore, you know, come more in line with what the yogis would call our true nature. So that's the journey. I know that that was a long explanation, but that's the journey that we'll go on. And all of the tools that we use are tools that take us into different states of consciousness that allow us to connect to the information and the memories that are already inside of us. So it's less of a teaching and more of an offering of a journey that has different tools and different methods that will bring us to our own inner wisdom. So it's more of a journey that connects us to the inner teacher.
Beautiful.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense. Amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, it's going to be such a great course. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for putting it together. Is there anything else that we need to touch on to share with anybody watching this?
Well, we talked about, I mean, the course came through me when you started to ask me about, do I know anything about lucid dreaming?
Mm.
And then I think we talked a little bit about, it kind of goes together with astral traveling, being able to, you know, to at will take our consciousness to different places and explore, you know, explore ourselves in different parts of consciousness. So we will do some practices that build skills for lucid dreaming, to be able to find ourselves in a nighttime dream and to be able to self-direct or control that dream, you know. And what's really interesting about that is then we look at that dream and we look at the waking dream and we see if there's that much difference between them as we start to be able to, you know, control our journey in the waking dream. And then we talked a little bit about astral traveling and how we can enter into, you know, different aspects of our energy fields and go and explore other places. So we'll be exploring those things. We'll be using the practice of yoga nidra a lot in these current times. It also feels like what will be really beneficial for us, especially if we're mothers, is to be able to rest our nervous system. So we do that through yoga nidra, and some of the concepts and the wisdom that is available to us from older parts of ourselves can make themselves known in yoga nidra. It's a very powerful practice. And then also the other thing that we have in this journey is journeys to connect to the older parts of ourselves. So some people call them like higher selves, or for me that I call it the eternal self. And we go on a journey to meet our guidance system, to recognize that that guidance system has always been with us and always been guiding us. And some of the things, some of the things in our lives or the events in our lives that we feel like have happened through coincidence, to maybe sense into that there is not really any coincidence. There is guidance, and there are there are guidance and forces that, you know, help us direct our journey, and it's to become more conscious of those things. And in general, the journey is about becoming more conscious of ourselves in general.
Yeah, nice. And with that consciousness, you know, building a good future for, you know, the planet and our children and so on. Yeah. Yes.
And when you
Really excited.
yeah and when you say that, Amy, what you're talking about is bringing consciousness and heart together. So when consciousness exists by itself without heart, it's, you know, it's the intellect without the heart. And in our culture, we have a lot of that, you know. So and in some of the cultures that I've been a part of, there's a lot of heart. So we're bringing those two things together, and this is what's happening. What feels to be, this is about the possibility. This is the possible trajectory that we can see, where consciousness and heart comes together, and we unite the body and the mind. So we transcend the mind in a way of not getting rid of it, of bringing it into the body, into the heart, and it becomes the heart mind.
Yes, love it. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
finally, even though, you know, the journey is an internal journey for every single person, a journey such as this that aligns us with the true nature of self, with the eternal self, with consciousness and heart, when we come into alignment with those things, and we use the internal guidance system to direct our journey in life, to direct our next step and next step and next step, success is the outcome. It's the probable outcome, because we're going inside, almost to the inner supervisor, to take our guidance, rather than taking it from outside, or, you know, from aspects of our consciousness that kind of work and can cause a little bit of confusion. So we can go inside for the clarity that we need to direct us on the next step.
And not get all bombarded from external things going on.
That's
yeah,
that's it. And even when we're thinking about, you know, even when we're thinking about ourselves in business and how we operate in business, you know, we know that we want to build a sustainable future, you know, so that we know that we want our businesses to be aligned with the future of our planet. But then oftentimes we can get caught up in some of our survival programs that are really about, but how do I do it for the now, and how do I make sure I can pay my bills, and how do I this, and how do I that. Yet when we are connected to something that is greater than ourselves, and when we're connected to the vision overall, there's a sense of ease, because something takes over and makes our decision for the next step. So our decision-making process becomes less frantic, and there's more trust that I believe in this, and I believe in this for the good of my family, for the good of the community, for the good of the people. Therefore, it can't fail. I just have to stay with the same thing. Or here's this inspiration and that fits with what I'm doing. How does it feel? Okay. It feels, do I feel a red light or a green light? Okay, I feel a green light. Let's go. You know?
Beautiful. Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. Everybody that comes on the course will get a dream journal that we started talking about at the beginning of this chat, and that's something that's really exciting as well for us to all work in and come back. And yeah, super excited for the all-nighter. Actually, that one's going to be really fun and interesting. And I'm just looking forward, actually, obviously for the course, but I'm really looking forward to being held by you and being taken on a journey by you, because I love doing that, and it's been a long time since I've done it. So yeah, I really welcome everybody to come and join us. It's going to be really great. So thank you, Shaura. And any questions, get in touch with myself and Shaura, and we can help you with those.
Thank you, Amy.